Hi, this is Catherine Rosa. I'm with Board Game Geek here at SPIEL 2016. I'm sitting here with Richard Breese from R&D Games, and he's here to introduce a new game, Key to the City London.
Good afternoon, thank you, Kath.
So tell me about the
just
game.
to introduce the game, Key to the City London is the first game from the Key series which has not been featured in the medieval keydom, as it were. The theme is London. We have, within the game, we have rules in 6 different languages, including English, and we also give you a rules booklet which has detailed, it's disappeared. We did have a special booklet in the game for Key to the City London which shows illustrations of different one.
Shows illustrations.
Right, there's 2 booklets, there's rules in 6 languages, and there's a separate London booklet which gives you a little bit of detail about all of the locations which are featured in the Key to the City London game. A little bit of detail about them, history, and some illustrations, a little bit larger than these, so you can actually see the work that's gone into them by the illustrator, Catherine Baxter.
There we go.
So here we are. So this is where we see the details of each of the buildings. You don't need to read that to play the game, but it's just a little bit of interesting. And if you're thinking of visiting London, that's
some information
quite a
about
nice little
actual
preview.
areas in London. That's neat.
So each of the tiles represents a different location. If you're familiar with Keyflower, some of the basics of the game are similar, but there are different aspects to the game. Somewhere close by we have the contents box, which also has the connectors. If perhaps we could bring over the box so I can explain the way that the connectors work. But the game plays from 3 to 6 players, and it plays over 4 eras as opposed to seasons. Thank you. We've got within the game 6 different coloured connectors which feature in this convenient tray which you can hand around while you're playing, so you don't have to search around for the different pieces. There's 3 different types of skill tiles, which are the architect, the financier and the builder, and then there are 6 different types of connectors, and these are obtained by placing your keeples onto these tiles. You start off with 10 keeples which are in red, yellow and blue. Unlike Keyflower, there are no green keeples. There are also no tiles which generate keeples, so from that means that the game tends to be a little bit more concise than Keyflower if you're familiar with that game. The way that you obtain these pieces is to use the tiles, which initially may start off at the centre of the board, the game table, but subsequent to that you will start to develop. When you acquire these tiles, you'll build up your own borough by connecting these tiles that you win to the tiles, your starting tile, which in this case for yellow would be Somerset House. So similar to Keyflower, the bidding system is always the same colour. So if I play on there, for example, if someone else wants Covent Garden greater than I do, they have to bid an additional number of blue keeples. If you're losing a bid, you can move your keeple elsewhere, or you can add to the bid to increase it. When everyone has played slightly differently to Keyflower, there's 4 things that you can do on your turn. You can add or create a bid, add to a bid. You can use a tile by placing something on a tile. So for example here, that would generate one of these skill tiles. On here, if I played onto there, that would generate a red and a brown connector. The connectors are placed immediately onto a tile. They cannot be moved during the game. You can place them like that, but later on in the game, where you have more tiles on the board, then you'll be connecting more than one tile together.
And you need the connectors to be able to...
the connectors will give you points. So for example, if we had this tile connected here, this tile is going to give you points for the tiles which attach to this tile, which are yellow. Each one is a different service. We've got underground, we've got electricity, we've got telecoms, 6 different services, which is why we've set the game out in London rather than the medieval landscape, one of the reasons. So this would generate 1 point. All the tiles in the same way in Keyflower can be upgraded. Now the upgrade cost is mentioned in the arrow here, so in this particular one, for example, looking over here, you would need to have had a brown, a white is any other colour. So if we had those connections, that would enable you to upgrade that tile. The upgrade mechanism is different. In Key to the City London, you place the worker on the tile and then you flip it over like that. The worker stays on the tile. These remain in place, so you don't spend those. They add up and increase the number of connections you've got in your borough. And what you're looking to do is to connect the tiles so that you're scoring points, and you're scoring points in a number of different ways. So for example, just trying to find another one. This one is scoring for different coloured connectors. There's some, like for example here, this is connecting, scoring for each of the tiles which are connected by yellow. So that would be 1, 2, 3 points, and then if it were upgraded, it would be 6 points. So there's different ways of connecting. So you're trying to get some synergy. You're trying to optimise, obviously, your positioning of the tiles and the connectors between them. Similar to Keyflower, you're able to use the tiles which other people have won and which are in their boroughs as well. So there was the same interchange of keeples between players. So you can always access something, but there is a cost in so much that you're giving the other players the benefit of the keeples that you previously had, which you keep behind your screen. Some of the tiles allow a second upgrade, similar to Keyflower the Merchants. So for example here, the upgrade cost initially is 2 red connectors and 1 skill tile. This would be 3 connectors and 1 skill tile to do a second upgrade, and then we place on there the little
Royal Albert
tile
Hall
to
token,
demonstrate that you've done the second upgrade. So those are the basic mechanics. We play over 4 seasons. What I always mentioned earlier, the other things that you can do as well as bidding and using a tile are passing, in which case you stay in the round, or set sail. Set sail is how you get the keeples for the following season. So if I were to pass as yellow player, I would choose one of these positions on the following era tile. That position would give me first place in the next season, and it would give me 7 keeples from the bag to place behind my screen. If I choose not to go first, I choose second, that would give me an extra keeple, so there would be 8 keeples. But I would not be playing first. The advantage of you playing first is you get to set the bidding on the tiles that you want to, and get to utilise the tiles that you want to before other players do. The other alternative that you might think about is going to the last position. Last position, you get 1 fewer keeples, but once all these other boats have set sail, you also take this tile and you fit that into your borough as well. And that will give you, at the end of the game, 2 points for every river tile which is connected by a blue a blue connector to this tile. So 4 different options. We will play over 4 seasons, so the river barges will flow their way up to the last tile. In the first season there are 6 generator tiles, which 3 of them will generate the skill tiles, 3 of them will generate 2 different coloured connectors. In the following season there are there's 6 of these tiles will come out, but with different combinations of connectors. In addition to that, there are also 6 other tiles which come out at random. So the first 2 seasons are similar. In the third era they're similar. In the third era there are only 6 new tiles that are coming out, and they come out already upgraded.
Okay.
Now the big difference to Keyflower is in this game you are and you will be very much concentrating on developing your borough
own area,
with the connectors, with the tiles. 6, even though there's a coming out upgraded, you'll probably be already so focused by the time we get to the 3rd era that you'll be trying to maximise what you already got. These are a bonus, and then in the final era there are, depending on the number of players, there are 2 era 4 tiles which become available for bidding in the same way, and these will score victory points for different combinations. So that one will score you points for combinations of the skill tiles, this one for red keeples, this for combination of keeples.
And they're end of game tiles.
And there are 1 or 2 others. This would give you for the low sets of connectors that you have in your borough, so 3 points for the one that you have fewest of, so multiples of 3. So I think in a snapshot we've probably got there with Keeper, with Key to the City London. So the slip of the tongue there, Keeper was a small plug for next year's game, but we'll stick to 2016.
How many people does it play? Up to 4 or?
This will play 2 to 6, and I think it does play quite well, or very well, with each of those numbers. I've played a lot of games with Sebastian, who's the co-designer, Sebastian Bleasdale. Sadly he can't be with us this week. His father died last week, and there's family matters to look after, and commiserations again, Sebastian, and it's a shame that you couldn't be with us this week, but I hope everything goes well. But any of the series player 2 to 6, I think you'll find you'll get quite a...
Does the number of players change the time it takes to play, or is it?
Yeah, generally a little bit longer with more players, because obviously you've got more people and there's more bidding, but not significantly.
How long does a game take to play?
I think generally, if you reckon about 90 minutes for the game, 2 players it'll play quicker, and when you know the game it'll play quite a bit quicker. But there's a lot happening in the game, and I think it is a different experience through the connections, through the rivers, through the theme than Keyflower. I think it's a game that perhaps makes it slightly easier to introduce you to the various concepts, but can be played as an alternative rather than being part of the Keyflower series.
Great, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
That is Key to City London from R&D Games.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you very much for listening.